Hello, everybody. That was a big bang right there. I'm so excited to see you all. To all of those who are here in Cain Park's Evans Amphitheater, good afternoon and enjoy the sunshine, which finally came out. I'm Catherine Heidemann. I'm the president and CEO of Cleveland Institute of Art. Welcome to CIA's 2026 Commencement Ceremony. Our college's 143rd commencement. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to the attendees visiting us online. We are delighted that all of you are able to join us. So I can't tell you how much joy it brings. It's like, I can't get this right. I can't tell you how much joy truly it brings to celebrate your accomplishments today, from your personal and professional triumphs to your creative and academic achievements. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to attend many of your BFA thesis presentations and exhibitions. And this experience, more than ever, validated how amazing you all are and why we all are here and why we all do what we do. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of my faculty, staff, and board colleagues. You are what this place is all about. So during some of the culminating critique processes over the past few days, some of the words that I kept hearing from both yourselves as well as through your peers and faculty advisors in describing your artistic journey were growth, courage, presence, resilience, and catharsis, and so much more. And that's what art school is all about. I saw you use design solutions to tackle social and civic problems. And although I may not have gotten to know each of you all individually, I see you, and I'm so grateful for all that you have taught me these past few years, and the opportunity given to me to reaffirm why my heart is truly in this work. You are leaving CIA today as talented, confident, resilient artists and designers, but also leaders. And I could not be more proud of you, the class of 2026. So please take a moment to thank those, indeed. Please take a moment to thank those close to you for the care and counsel they've provided you during your time at CIA. It can be easy to forget the sacrifices they made to help you get to this day, or to lose sight of the financial and emotional support they may have offered you. But to do so would mean ignoring key contributors to finding your vision and developing the discipline and skill to become artists and designers. These loved ones have given you an extraordinary gift, a lifelong gift, and you can acknowledge that gift by using your education to make a difference with your work. May I ask the parents, family, and friends of our graduates to stand for our appreciation. Let me also thank CIA's extraordinary faculty. Your devotion to our students helped them shape while they're in their classrooms and studios, and your passion and dedication to your own practices will serve to motivate them after they leave CIA for years to come. Your commitment to their success and the inspiration you provide to them was evident in these students' BFA projects, which showcase their talent, craft, and expressiveness. I ask all the faculty members to stand. We thank you and we honor you and your funny hats especially. And let's take a moment to acknowledge the efforts of our remarkable staff who were dedicated partners in your CIA experience and deeply committed to your success as well. Without them, our college would not exist. No students would be admitted, no financial aid would be awarded, our facilities would not be equipped, clean, or safe, and there would be no student life, gallery, library, interactive media lab. Many CIA staff are here today, including those running around and managing the ceremony, still working hard. Staff in the amphitheater, please stand. Let's give them a warm round of applause. I'd also like to recognize our CIA board members who are here in the audience with us today. Without you, we would certainly not have a school, and we certainly thank you for your undying and steadfast support and leadership of this remarkable college. If the CIA's board of directors could also recognize as well. Good transition. You were not going to stand up. I'm making you stand up. So with that transition, not so graceful transition, it is now my distinct pleasure to introduce CIA's Board of Directors Chair, Cynthia Pryor-Gascoigne. Cynthia has been the chair of our college's Board of Directors for 11 years. And while she will be stepping down as chair next month, we are pleased that she will remain on our board. Her leadership and dedication to CIA is unparalleled, and we are very fortunate to have her at the helm all these years. Please join me in congratulating Cynthia on a job very well done. Thank you, Cynthia.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for that very, very warm welcome. It's hard to imagine that my 10 years have just slipped by and I'm coming to the end of my term, but I can't think of a better way to spend it than at the 2026 commencement. It's always been, graduation has probably been one of my favorite activities that I've been able to preside over, so it's an honor to be here. Today is a day of recognition and celebration for our graduating students, their family, friends, and the entire CIA community. As I look out, I see the faces of many of students that I've had the opportunity to get to know the last 4 years, and it's been another great part of my job is seeing the creativity and the maturation and how you've grown over that time through the rigors of liberal arts, studio practice, engaged community processes, and finally, last but not least, your BFA thesis work. Be proud because you will be congratulated many, many times over today, and you can rest assured you have earned it. And I also want to join Catherine in reminding you to once again thank all those whose love and support got you to this point. And join us in thanking your family, friends, and the faculty for supporting you, and the faculty in particular for opening your creativity over these past 4 years. I'd also like to take another moment to recognize the faculty because not only are they dedicated to the students, but the work they do beyond the halls of CIA is exemplary. There's not a week that goes by that a faculty member doesn't have an exhibit, isn't earning awards or accolades in their discipline. And actually, it is that work that is the most inspirational and the greatest gift you give your students. So thank you. I'd also like to thank Catherine Heidemann, whose leadership of our college has just been incredible. I think many of you are aware of the tremendous headwinds that face higher education. They're actually of historic proportions. The demographic shift, the increasing regulatory requirements that are becoming increasingly complex and ever-changing, and even more important, the sort of profound discord that has, the whole conversation and discussion that has come up around higher education that's really eroding the public's trust for almost the first time in our country's history of the value of a college degree. And I'm here, number one, to argue that nothing could be further from the truth. It's institutions like CIA that nurture critical thinking skills, that serve as bastions for learning, discovery, and they're more essential now than ever. So, and it's with Catherine's leadership that she keeps us focused on that and is a great advocate not only for CIA within the halls, but once again with our elected leaders, showing the workforce development and really being a great advocate for the relevancy of an arts and design education. And while championing the value of college is all of our jobs and it's inherent in being at CIA, Catherine is our number one advocate. So with that, I would also like to remind people that Catherine will rise, and their next is to rise and join me on the podium for our awards and recognition ceremony. So. Oh, yes. Okay. It's now my privilege to announce the awards and honors bestowed on our graduates. These awards are made in recognition of outstanding achievement by talented student artists and designers, and the recipients are selected by the faculty based on merit. Scholarships are essential to ongoing efforts to ensure our students' continued advancement, and we are especially grateful to those who have generously supported our students through scholarship gifts. Students, when I call your name, please stand up and then come to the podium. The first award, the Otto F. Egge Memorial Award, is presented to a graduating student who has maintained an interest in scholarly and intellectual activities comparable to his or her artistic achievement. This year's award goes to Eliza Colby. Our second award is the Outstanding Student Leader, Senior Student Leader Awards, presented to graduating students who've made contributions to the college community through service and participation in events and organizations while maintaining a high level of artistic and academic performance. This year's recipients are Christopher Sitney and Nicole Alvarez. It's a long walk, I know. And you'll be making it again, so. And now for the President's Traveling Scholarships. Through generous benefactors, the Cleveland Institute of Art provides the following awards for travel, further study, and the stimulation of creative efforts. We're probably the only college that actually hands students money on the way out the door. And it's a wonderful tradition each year that allows a select group of students to pursue their interests beyond Cleveland. These awards are being announced for the first time today. If your name is announced, please join us on the stage for a group photo. And we ask, and I'm going to probably violate this myself, but we ask that you hold the applause until all of the awards have been announced. Okay, here we go. The first Agnes Gunn Memorial Scholarship is typically awarded to one recipient. That is, unless there are quote, unquote, exceptional circumstances. Well, I'm excited this year to share that we do have exceptional circumstances. And this year's first Agnes Gunn Memorial Award is awarded to a joint application by Alexandra Miller, Jade Popovich, and Sid Rogers. Okay. Enthusiasm should never be squelched. So, the second Agnes Gunn Memorial Award goes to Lane Grigson. The third Agnes Gunn Memorial Award goes to Theodis Reagans. The Helen Green Perry Traveling Scholarship Award goes to Eliza Colby. The Mary C. Page Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Brianna Fairbrother. And finally, the Nancy Dunn Memorial Scholarship goes to Izzy Thomas. A hearty congratulations to all of our winners. Are we set? Okay. What?
I'm sitting down now, right?
You are, and I'm calling Greg up. Okay. Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost Greg Watts. Greg?
I hate having to follow people who have been awarded things with just words, but I apologize in advance. Cynthia, thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here with you today, the CIA graduating class of 2026, and I personally applaud you for the years of serious study that you have undertaken. Now, the future is yours, and we just can't wait to see what you do with your talents and your ingenuity. So we were speaking about that faculty a few minutes ago, and it is my pleasure to introduce this year's faculty speaker. It's been a proud tradition for the recipient of CIA's Victor Schreckengost Excellence in Teaching Award to address that year's graduating class. The Schreckengost Award was established in 2000 to honor the late artist and industrial designer Victor Schreckengost, a 1929 CIA graduate who taught at the college for almost 70 years. The award in his name is presented to current or former faculty of CIA in recognition of teaching excellence. Nominations are accepted from the entire CIA community, faculty, former faculty, alumni, students, and friends. This year's award has been presented to Professor Tony Ingressano. And thus, the honor of addressing your class goes to Tony. A few words about Tony to embarrass him. Tony earned a BA from the University of Vermont and an MFA from Pratt Institute in New York. In his biography, Tony describes himself as a visual artist whose work is concerned with abstractions of visual information and the relational veracity that is lost in the transformation. He has presented solo and group exhibitions at venues including the Islip Art Museum and Leslie Heller Gallery in New York, where he has mounted multiple solo exhibitions. His work is held in public and private collections, including the Cleveland Clinic, Progressive, and Estee Lauder. Tony has taught at CIA primarily in painting since 2014. He is widely recognized by colleagues and students for his mentorship, inventive pedagogy, and rare ability to make the impossible feel achievable while cultivating joy and wonder in the teaching studio. Please join me in welcoming Tony to deliver his address.
Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you so much. When I found out that I got to do this and speak to you today, I choreographed a 2-hour interpretive dance of the life of Helen of Troy from birth all the way through the end of the Trojan War, where I played every part. It is epic, but then I found out I only have 5 minutes, so instead I'm just going to say a few things to you. Art proposes unrealized possibility. It offers pure potential. I'm going to say that one more time because I want you to remember it. Art proposes unrealized possibility. It offers pure potential. When I teach a foundation course towards the end, once I've gotten to know students, I'll usually ask them a question. How many of you had to fight with your parents to go to art school? Without fail, 90 to 95% of the hands are raised. Congratulations, graduates, for the perseverance to win that battle. To all the parents here, whether or not that struggle rings a bell, thank you. We need more parents like you in the world. Thank you for believing in your children, even when they were children, much more so, even if it meant struggling with their decision, because in the end, you win this battle as well. When we're young, it's great because every battle feels like the whole war. But by now, you know it is not. Convincing someone else of your calling is a straightforward endeavor. Convincing yourself of that calling and persevering in the face of your own self-doubt is exponentially more difficult. I imagine that by now, all of you have faced a struggle with yourselves in these last 4 years, and nice job on winning that battle as well. You've likely also realized that no battle arrives alone, so even if you've beaten self-doubt, deadlines, the fact that yes, college is hard, you've got much longer fights ahead. Societal expectations, capitalism's pressure to outpace and conform, and scrutiny from angles you didn't even know existed. Do you know what ROI is? ROI is an acronym for return on investment. If I own a bakery and I spend $5,000 to take out a billboard ad, when the ad comes down, I want to know if I sold $5,000 worth of new bread. If so, that's a good return on investment. What kind of things have good ROI? Safe bets. Safe bets avoid unpredictability. TikTok only serves you what you've already gravitated towards, reinforcing what you like without ever presenting new challenging ideas. Safe bets don't propose those new ideas because they might fail. Proposing new products or strategies to your boss is risky. If your idea fails, you might lose your job. Safe bets chase trends and proven formats. 99% of content creators do not create anything new. They just dogpile. Viral challenges, hyper-satisfying paint pours, slime, ASMR, glow-ups. Slime was never about slime. It was about identifying a repeatable algorithmic machine. But it's not just products and trends that are measured through ROI. People are as well. Yourselves included. Think about that. Your value is being measured by the same metric as bread, lipsticks, clicks, and subscribers. So let's ask again, what kind of people have good ROI? Safe bets. Safe bets avoid unpredictability. The act of creating is inherently unpredictable. It's capable of seismic shifts and disruptions. Safe bets don't propose new ideas because they might fail. Creative endeavors embrace failure. Artists cannot persevere without accepting this. Chasing trends and proven formats. Placing salary above internal drive. Opting for a degree in engineering despite every bone in your body screaming that you are an artist. I want to remind you of two truths. One, society is scared of you because you are unpredictable and risky, and that's a superpower. Willing to take risks, unknown, in the hopes of creating something new that has the potential to make the world a better place. Two, so much of life is out of your control. But what is in your control is how we go about the necessary tasks, how we behave and think while we do so. We must fulfill certain needs, but we have a choice of how much empathy we employ in doing so. And once those needs are met, we have a much more important decision in how we go about the meaningful components of our lives: passion and desire, interests and curiosities, family and friends, how we choose to spend our time, what we choose to think about. The space to be alone with our thoughts, to think independently, and to ask questions like, to what end? These simply cannot be measured by ROI. And the worst ROI of all is love. You can dedicate every molecule in your body to loving someone or something or some idea. You can pour all of your trust, your care, your dedication, loyalty, vulnerability, energy, time, money, and attention into that love. But nothing, absolutely nothing, guarantees you will receive the same thing in return. I hope that every single one of you allows yourself the opportunity to give everything to love. And if your heart is broken, to risk it all over again. Because when you get it right, love is one of the very, very few things in this world that proposes unrealized possibility and offers pure potential. I hope that rings a bell. Thank you so much. Sorry, there was something else I was supposed to say. I now invite Dean of Students, Dr. Amanda Froelich, to the podium to introduce our student speaker.
Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Fronick, and I serve as CIA's Dean of Students. As we come together today to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2026, it's my great honor to introduce our student speaker, Tashanti Newbold, who has truly left their mark on CIA. Tashanti is a Bahamian visual artist, photographer, and fashion designer from Broward County, Florida, who focus their studies at CIA in photography and video. Their creative practice explores the relationship between identity, environment, and authority, with a particular focus on Black communities that are often overlooked or misrepresented. Across photography, textiles, and design, Tashanti's work is grounded in a commitment to reclaiming narrative and redefining visibility, asking not only who is seen, but how they are seen and who gets to decide. During their time at CIA, Tashanti demonstrated both artistic excellence and meaningful leadership. Their photography focused on exploring gender, race, and personal identity through close, thoughtful portraits. Beyond the studio, they served as a resident assistant, helping to foster connection, care, and accountability within our campus community. Their academic and artistic achievements earned them a full scholarship to study abroad in Florence, Italy, where they engaged global approaches to art, craft, and cultural exchange. At just 23 years old, Tashanti founded their own creative business, laying the foundation for a multidisciplinary brand that merges visual art, fashion, and storytelling. They plan to continue their studies in Brazil with the goal of expanding their practice internationally and building connections across diasporic communities. Please join me in welcoming your 2026 student speaker, Tashanti Newbold.
I'm a little nervous. Can you guys hear me? Awesome, awesome. This is so intense. Okay. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. All right. Before I start, I would like to go ahead and ask a few questions in the audience. Who in the crowd likes being Black? I'm gonna need you to say it a little bit louder, okay? We're at a PWI. Come on. Okay. Who likes being a person of color? Okay, all right. My name is Tashanti Newbold. Good afternoon, friends, family, lovers, alumni, and the amazing CIA squad that helped facilitate the production of the Cleveland Institute of Art. And good afternoon to my class of 2026. Come on. Okay. My name is Pernisha Tashanti Newbold, speaking on behalf of the very intimate but incredibly rich photo and video department. It is both a privilege and an honor to stand in a moment like this, one that asks us to reflect and digest who we allowed ourselves to become. Before I dive in, I want to share a little bit about my accolades and then give you some very much unsolicited advice you didn't ask for. I'm a Bahamian visual artist, fashion designer, and show director. I'm the first in my family to go to college, art college at that. I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. I studied abroad on a full ride, having earned a plethora of scholarships along the way. My junior year, I was a resident assistant, aiding at the accountability of showing up for my residents in the 117 apartment buildings, and somehow managed to find time to travel in my 2005 Mazda 6 Sport, a very much rundown vehicle, photographing over 200 people. Stay with me, I gotta turn the page real quick, okay. I designed and curated my first fashion show in Florence, Italy. Every seam, every lighting choice, and every detail. All of these things are accomplishments I made that I am very proud of. Not because they define me, but because they reflect the one thing I continuously go to practice: the audacity to ask, the courage to step forward, and the willingness to confront the unknown. And that brings me to my very much unsolicited advice that I want to leave you with today. Ask questions. Ask bold questions. Ask the questions that no one else has the audacity to ask. Ask questions that disturb the peace in the room, because the world needs questions. Questions lead to examination, and examination leads to solutions. Questions will reward certainty over curiosity. Ask questions of yourself, of your work, of the people and the systems around you. That's very important. Let us stick with you. Ask questions that disrupt, that challenge, that illuminate. Ask questions that make you uncomfortable, because discomfort is where transformation resides. And here's the truth. Asking questions requires courage. It requires audacity. And audacity is not the absence of fear. It is an action of spite of it. It's daring to show your work to make it, give me one second, I gotta turn the page, you know what I'm saying? To make your voice heard, to take your vision all the way to Florence, Italy, or wherever your curiosity takes you. So as we leave this place, I encourage you to carry the audacity with you, to see the world with open eyes, to challenge what is accepted. I would like to take a few moments to say a few thank yous to some of the amazing bodies inhabiting this space. Thank you to the amazing professors like Photo Video Department Linda Post and Charles H. Lee that make an active effort to listen and slowly feel for their students. And thank you to the technicians, maintenance family, custodians that help amplify the operations of the Cleveland Institute of Art. You guys are the heart and soul of CIA, truly. To my class of 2026, wearing these beautifully created cap and gowns, constructed out of the reflection of your personality and identity, I am now speaking to you. Thank you to the ones sitting here today concerned about money. Thank you to the ones sitting here today that's heartbroken or unhealed, and thank you to the ones sitting here today battling mental health. I want you guys to let that stick, because those are the parts that they do not see. You guys are more courageous and way stronger than you give yourself credit for. It takes bold courage to stand in a uniform world and choose a voice of art. Before we close this chapter of our lives today, say, I am proud of myself. Literally, say it. Say, I am proud of myself. One more time. I'm gonna need all the parents, everybody in the crowd to say it, okay? Okay, because I don't know who y'all talking to, but y'all not talking to me. Today, say, I'm proud of myself. Today, say, I deserve this moment. Say it. Okay. And today, as you sit here with a little bit of nervousness and excitement mixed with a little bit of razzle-dazzle of being scared, remind yourself, I will always be okay. Class of 2026, let's not simply enter the world. Let's enter it with questions, with audacity, and with the courage to make the unseen seen. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2026. Tashanti is out. I served 6 years up here, and I'm going home to eat Wingstop and whatever else I feel like eating.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. You are all so amazing, and I really appreciate your wonderful remarks, Tashanti. Craig Hassel is a distinguished arts management leader with an extraordinary career spanning 3 continents and some of the world's most iconic cultural institutions. As president and CEO of Playhouse Square, one of the world's largest and most vibrant arts districts, Craig oversees a unique collection of 12 theaters hosting an impressive season of Broadway, concerts, and cultural activities. Prior to his work in Cleveland, Craig held prominent leadership roles at London's Royal Albert Hall, Opera Australia, and the Australian Centre for Craft and Design, each time helping to elevate the role of the arts in civic life. Craig brings a truly global perspective and a deep belief in the power of creative talent to shape cities, strengthen economies, and build thriving communities. Paired with the meaningful collaborations between Playhouse Square and CIA under his leadership, I am inspired by the vision for the role that our graduates will play in that future. You can read more about Craig in your program, But in short, his work is both significant and inspiring, and we are honored to have him with us today. So please join me in warmly welcoming Craig Hassel to the podium.
Good afternoon. That was lovely, but I have to follow Tashanti. I feel really, this is going to be very boring. I'm sorry, after what you just heard. Good afternoon, everyone, especially to you folk here, the graduating class of 2026. I don't need to remind you of the importance of today. I remember myself many, many years ago when I graduated from the University of Sydney, that sense of relief, but also that feeling of anxiety. You're on the precipice of the next adventure, and here we go. You're leaping into it together. In my case, it was this ivy-covered sandstone wall on the other side of the world, but the feeling, I'm sure, was the same that you have today. It's a huge honor to be invited to speak to you all today. And, you know, personally, I've been here 3 years, and being asked to do this, I feel like a Clevelander, finally. I obviously wasn't born or bred here. You can tell by this accent. Although I do like to say that because I sound like this, everything I say sounds intelligent, yeah? Great. I use that to my advantage all the time. When I was preparing for today's address, I was determined to avoid all those kind of banal platitudes that happen at these kinds of ceremonies where we talk about, you know, I would go into AI and say, what would AI say? And it would say, be diligent, be devoted, and be driven, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not doing any of that. Instead, let's look at what we can celebrate today, the power and majesty of the human experience. AI is unable to draw upon or replicate the human experience. I've worked in a world my whole life that depends on humanity in all its forms on stage. And in a post-COVID world, those of us in the performing arts are even more appreciative and grateful for the live performances we present. To that end, I want to just seek your indulgence and share some thoughts from a young man who wrote to me in the most passionate manner after he had visited the theatre at Playhouse Square recently. His name is Jonathan, and he came along with a group of his schoolmates to see Suffs, a musical about the suffragist movement of the early 20th century, a very moving story about young women fighting for the right for women to vote in this country. I found this young man's description of this struggle to be just so inspiring, and I was really in awe of the maturity that he displayed in this letter. And I just want to read some paragraphs to you, and I hope you feel the same. These are Jonathan's words. Seeing Suffs at Playhouse Square in the Connor Palace was more than a field trip or a night at the theatre. It was a formative experience. As the musical unfolded, I realized how little I truly knew about the individuals behind the suffrage movement. I had encountered the 19th Amendment in textbooks, but textbooks rarely capture sacrifice. Throughout the show, certain lines were met with murmurs of agreement. Others were met with audible gasps. At moments of triumph, the applause came instinctively and passionately. The lyrics demanded attention. When the ensemble declared their call for equality, it felt as though the audience was breathing as one. We were no longer just spectators, we were witnesses. This show also challenged me personally. It would be easy, especially at an all-boys Jesuit school, to see this story as one that belongs to women alone. But the deeper lesson is that justice is a shared responsibility. For young men especially, experiences like this are essential. We live in a time when conversations about equality can be polarized or oversimplified. Yet art has the power to open hearts before it challenges minds. For a few hours in the Connor Palace, we were not just an audience, we were a community reminded that equality is not optional and justice is not passive. It requires participation, it requires conviction, it requires all of us. That's the first time I've read that without crying. This letter is so moving. I'm so lucky to work in a creative industry, and I presented performances to people like young Jonathan and millions of people all over the world, as Catherine was saying, through theatre, opera, musicals, dance, or concerts. The creativity that powers the world that I work in is something of which I am constantly in awe. And today, I'm in awe of your creativity. You are all leaving CIA and entering a world where creativity is celebrated, but often questioned. And my plea to you is that you retain your passion and your individuality, which I can see right in front of me today with all your fantastic hats. And my reason for reading that letter is to remind us all that passion has a place in any profession. AI can assist, of course it can, but it cannot replace passion. AI is a remarkable tool, but so was the typewriter. So was the telex machine. I see a sea of blank faces. A telex machine, anyone? Yep, yeah, some people at the back remember that. 3D printing, there we are. These things are amazing tools, but they're merely tools, and they can make our lives more efficient, but they cannot replace our souls. I hope that young Jonathan grows up to be a CEO and hires all of you, becomes a college dean, an art collector, and buys your works of art, or a senator who supports you in politics, but remembers the power of human creativity and the potency of live performance, my world. I need to remind you, you're leaving CIA and entering a rather challenging void, a void that you straddle in your disciplines particularly. One foot firmly planted in artistic endeavors, and the other in creativity, and the other, that's 3 feet, in practical realities, logistics, budget, and execution. But you're remarkable young people, and you will straddle all those voids. Now, I've worked my entire life in the world of make-believe, whether that's in opera or theater or dance or whatever. But like you, I rely on the magic of the creative industries for my being. Unlike you, I do not have a creative bone in my body. I rely on people like you. And when I was invited to address you today, and then I had to follow Tashanti, I had immediate imposter syndrome. Anyway, I'm here. I had an amazing tour of CIA last year with President Heidemann, and I was blown away by the breadth of disciplines that you have in that amazing institution. The attention to creativity, the dedication of the teaching staff, and in fact, since that tour, we've embarked on a collaboration with CIA through the animation students to create something for Playhouse Square. Now, every night in New York at Times Square, there's a thing called Midnight Moment, where visual and video artists' work take over all the billboards at Times Square, just for about 2 minutes at midnight. It's worth staying up for, and it's completely freaky and wonderful. So our own version of Playhouse Square is Marquee Moments. And we've just produced our latest moment thanks to CIA, a whimsical animated sequence celebrating the metro parks of Cleveland on all our digital assets at Playhouse Square for a few minutes every evening. So thank you, CIA, for making us look good downtown. So not only is this collaboration a real example of the power of your creativity, but also a reminder of the value of your skills to the creative economy. When I think of the skills that I need in my world to deliver performances that I do every day, so many of those skills are right here, sitting in front of me through CIA. Now, my previous role, as Catherine said, was at the Royal Albert Hall in London, and I was CEO. Now, that's a venerable Victorian concert hall nestled in the midst of what's called Albertopolis, which is a nickname for a whole lot of very old, important cultural institutions, and in fact, the world's first true cultural quarter. And when I was thinking about what to say to you today, I was thinking about the makeup of all those institutions over in London and their creative economy in the 1800s. And it's as relevant today as it was back in those days. And I joined the dots between Albertopolis and CIA. And I think, where would the Royal Albert Hall be today without graphic design or game design? Where would the Victorian Albert Museum be without printmaking, craft and design, or sculpture? The Royal College of Art without painting or animation? The Science Museum without photography or industrial design? The Natural History Museum without drawing? Imperial College without life sciences illustration? Or the Design Museum without interior architecture? My knowledge of your sector, in fact, was informed initially by an engagement when I was living in Australia. And I was very fortunate to be the chair of Object, the Australian Centre for Craft and Design, a kind of Australian version of CIA. This national organisation focused on the decorative arts and crafts of Australian-educated artists and creators. And I found it a fascinating entree into your world. And there was an exhibition I remember really distinctly. It was called Home::Made. And the conceit was to present a range of artworks and industrial design concepts that reflected both the idiosyncrasies of the origin countries of the artist, as well as the specificity of the design school within Australia. The result was this mad and eclectic range of objects in the exhibition that reinforced the subliminal cultural identity of the artist's origin and the influence of a teaching paradigm from Australia, jammed together. In fact, I still have at home 3 really crazy, eclectic, asymmetrical cushions from a Finnish-born, Australian-trained designer. And it's felt because Scandinavians love felt, and they're an absolute treasure of mine. But the reason to mention this to you today is to underline the inherent humanity in what you've learned and who you all are as individual artists. This quotient of originality will serve you well as you launch into the world after today. You are all indeed remarkable, and yet you're going into a world where you're straddling commercial viability and creativity, and you'll be challenged again and again and again on those 2 paradigms. But I'll leave you with this plaintive plea. There'll be many times from now into your careers when you reach a crossroad and you think, do I go for the known, budget-friendly and safe option, or do I take a risk with that earn, that commission, that script, that design? Please, please, please explore the road less traveled. And remember what happens when you don't take any risks? As Tony said, nothing happens. Take risks. AI, Gemini, all of those things, they can't take risks. They can replicate and they can amalgamate. But you are remarkable people. And from today's graduating class, Tashanti certainly can. Charlotte can, Ashton can, Lane, Teresa, Sid, Cameron too. And I have no doubt that all of you can, and you will, in the world that waits ahead of you. Thank you, CAA, for inviting me to speak, and thank you for all that you, the graduating class, are about to bestow on the creative industries. I now invite Dr. Amanda Fronek, Dean of Students, with the assistance of the faculty, to begin the presentation of degree candidates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hassel. I now invite Board Chair Gascoigne and President Heidemann and the faculty to join me in receiving the graduate candidates. I'm honored to announce the candidates for the degree. Will the first row of candidates please proceed to the stage? For the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts in Animation, Jane Marie Abinader. Nico Bricker. Ellen Clover Calder. Diego Cesare. Lisa Hope Din. Mia DeSanti. Vivian Pauline Duval. Brenna Garza. Lolo Gels. Imani Grant. Annie Coppage. Sophia Kostick. Ariana Lazoya. Franklin Y. Liu. Julie Anna Moeller. Joella Rose Nagy. Jess Richwine. Klaus Rumi. Rin Safian. Maria Silvidi. Lisa Taylor. Allison Grace Timms. Beck Tranter. Zach Turnick. Jada Aaliyah Warfield White. In craft and design, Elisa DeLorem. Ryan Garcia. Emery Goldstein. Ignis Maneri. Valentina Mixa. Grace Tamura. Alexander Workman. In craft and design ceramics, Ash Gwen. In craft and design glass, Caroline Abbey. Lane Gregson. In drawing, Sebastian Chironi. Amina Daoud. Finn Fewer. Claire Miles. Alacia Rogers. Madison Stutzman. Izzy Thomas. Samantha Vaca. In game design, Abigail Quintana. Brandon Skidmore. Madison Ray Smith. Kate Terzecki. Alani Tufts. Joseph J. Venero. Teresa Ramel Louise White. Julian Williams. In graphic design, Linda Gallant. Megan Kimberly Regina Mans. Alexandra Miller. Zoe Isabella Peenstra. Jade Popovitz. Sid Rogers. Mia Stutzman. Sam Torok. Zoe Washio. In illustration, Alex Askew. Rachel Augustin. Evan Baker. Lexus Bell. Emily Todd Bach. Claudia Bordeaux. Eli Boyd. Julian David Castano Muriel. Eliza Colby. Malachi K. Connors. Sophia Dacanay. Gavin Damon. Cheyenne L. Deibler. Emma Louise Earls. Chensi Gao. Jackie Gollings. Neo Harvey. Lindsay Nicole Hatch. Alder Hildebrand. Sean Joyce. Vinnie Karnick. Garrett Klein. Yesenia Lopez Rodriguez. Felix Methuselah. Fiona Navarra. Blake Nicholas. Benjamin Puentes. Marissa Page Raitt. Toby Relier. Jet Rossi. Devin Strother. Alexa Trochnia. Jorge Vargas Prudom. Nicholas Witherspoon. In industrial design, Dimitro Hunchak. Joshua Litton. In interior architecture, Aiden Hart. Charlotte Smoley. In life sciences illustration, Brooke Allen. Harper Fullen. Samantha Mack. Wild Schaefer. Clara R. Weber. In painting, Nicole Alvarez. Ray C. Askew. Ashton Burton. Bianca Curry Nugget. Brianna Fairbrother. Skylar Fleming. Madison Hennessy. Francesca Marie Jablonski. Yasmin Kwan. Kathleen O'Hara. Jazzy Palma. Angelina Patterson. Julie Marie Peterson. Grace Robin. Gabrielle Rossetti. In painting and drawing, Owen Britt. Gwendolyn Canfield. Audrey Magix. Sage Zargari. In painting and printmaking, Theatis Regans. In photography, Lane Gifford. In photography, video, and digital cinema track, Tashanti Newbold. Benjamin Carter Techmeyer. In printmaking, Christopher Glenn Sitney. In sculpture and expanded media, MZ Bowers-Bainey. Brody Burton. Emmy Rose Corsaro. Lillian Rose Gomez. Morgan Hartrich. Jeffrey Harris Kirkby. Nadia Miller. Cameron L. Wright. President Heidemann, will you please come to the podium for the charge to the graduates and the conferral of the degrees?
Okay, and now, my charge is directed to our graduating seniors. This is the last time that you, the class of 2026, will gather as students of CIA, and it is the start of your lifelong journey as alumni of this beloved school. It is a moment of excitement over the special nature of this day, profound satisfaction for a job extremely well done by all those gathered here, and hopeful and joy and hope for a future of creativity and achievement. And of course, there may be just a little bit of fear as you venture forth to apply your education, and that's okay. But just remember that you have that essential special skill that can make anything possible. That skill is creativity. We've talked about that a lot today. And you have learned to develop it, to harness it, to mold it, to shape it, to totally own it. That's what you do, and you do so well. And the creative process and the outcome of it is often unknown, as we've also discussed. Starting with a blank canvas of curiosity, moving to imagining, reimagining, and discovery, to failing forward and iterating, to turning nothing into everything, to embracing the mess and thriving in the unstructured. Even the World Economic Forum agrees year after year that creativity is a top skill for the future of work, and that's what makes you all the most prepared for the future. And creativity is messy, and just like life is also messy, so you definitely got this. Your time here has been full of challenges and accomplishment, tragedy and triumph, intensity and fascination, wonder and discovery. Every time I see the work you have created in this special place that is CIA, I am thrilled and humbled to be leading this institution. Your energy is infectious, and your talent and your accomplishments are undeniable. This makes being at CIA a total joy, and I know I am joined by colleagues in that sentiment. So as you venture forth to create your careers, please remember that you have built a community of peers, an extended family during your years at CIA. I urge you to maintain and cherish these relationships with your fellow graduates for the years to come. Those still at the school will remain in contact with you and want to hear of your successes and even share in your disappointments. Your relationship with CIA does not end today, and it simply evolves as you turn the page in the next chapter as alumni. Please never forget the lessons learned in this wild and wonderful place that is art school. You came here and learned the ins and outs of art and design techniques, processes, and practices. You honed your communication and critical thinking skills through essential liberal arts coursework. You built community. You made lifelong friendships. You continued to evolve as whole human beings. You harnessed the unique human skill of creativity and critical thinking. You might have failed. You probably did. But you failed forward, and you became resilient. You laughed. You may have cried. You were independent, and you're also collaborative. You became leaders. And I remember that almost 4 years ago, I met so many of you at Accepted Students Day when you told me that what you were most excited about in coming to CIA was friendship and independence. And I hope you accomplished that. I know that I enjoyed seeing that evolve through your time here. And at CIA, we are makers of visual art, craft design, and integrative media, but also makers of meaning, makers of place, and makers of community. CIA teaches us all how to see, and we have strived to show you how to see the world in all of its wonders and woes. You've challenged to show us in return at CIA the interpretation of the world as you see it. And through your work at CIA, we have seen the truest, most authentic versions of yourselves, and in that important endeavor, we've witnessed you discover your voice, advance your limits, stretch far and wide. And we are so incredibly proud of you, and we can't wait to see what you create next and who you become. So candidates, I now ask you to rise. And I won't make you do the dance that Tony may have done. I would have liked to see that, though. Maybe you can teach us later. But it is a privilege for me to speak as a representative of this distinguished community of artists and designers, a community that has committed itself to your success and lent its expertise and dedication to your efforts. We congratulate you on having met the challenge of a rigorous curriculum and having earned, with your own dedication, the recognition now being conferred. So upon the recommendation of the faculty, and by the authority in me by the Board of Directors and the Cleveland Institute of Art and the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts, with all the honors, rights, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Graduates, you may now turn your tassels and join the ranks of illustrious CIA alumni. So thank you so much for sharing this celebration, celebrating the class of 2026 with us here today. Please, I invite you to please join us back at CIA for the BFA exhibition. I know your students are excited to show you what they've been working on. We ask our guests to please remain at your seats until the recession has concluded, and you may greet your graduate outside of the amphitheater. Thanks again, and congratulations to the class of 2026.